Welcome, friends, to Tanked Up, the podcast all about video games and beer. I'm one of your hosts, Ben. Oh, I've got no idea what episode it is. 200, 329, 330, 331, 4,806. I'm here with Lucy.
Hi.
Can you kind of see that we've been here for 4,000 episodes now? It's crazy. How do you feel, Lucy? It's been so long.
Tired.
And we're here with Aadil as well.
Hey.
Who looks not a day over, episode 331. So there we go.
Which is in an hour?
Oh wait, yeah.
You've aged me by an hour. I look like I'm older than I am by the laws of physics. Thanks, Ben.
Brilliant. 321, I should say. Let's open some beers. Aadil, what are you opening first?
I've gone for another Dutch beer. It's the Moersleutel Beer Engineers Daily Grind, batch number 1 coffee stout. Ironically, according to the stamp, it's batch number 422. But it's our Daily Grind is not the super thick knife and fork beer we usually brew, but a drinkable sessionable stout that finishes dry and light. You can consider this a more classic stout with light caramel aromas and intense roasted palate. Clocking it at 6% ABV with a creamy mouthfeel. As with coffee, this beer is used to keep your company and improve your mood during your daily tasks. So I won't be irritable.
Well, that's good.
As I normally am.
Funny doing daily tasks. It's one of the hottest days of the year for stout.
Oh yeah,
it's me.
As long as it's chilled, I think you'll be alright. You'll be alright.
I suppose.
Lucy, what are you opening?
I'm opening up a beer. Where is it? Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. I am drinking a beer that was crafted in Kingston, Jamaica. From Troubles Brewing. Not one I've heard of. Didn't even know there was a craft scene in Jamaica.
No.
This is called Easy Skankin. It's a Hefeweizen.
Nice, good name.
It's
Agreed.
It's 5.5%. It says wheat beer as well. So about this beer, is it just describing what a Hefeweizen is? Yeah, it's just describing what a Hefeweizen is. I'll read it anyway. For those of you who have been on this wonderful journey for over 300 episodes or whatever, who don't know what Hefeweizen is, the Hefeweizen or German-style wheat beer is brewed with mostly malted wheat. This is a cloudy straw-coloured beer consisting of clove and banana-like flavours, which are derived from the Bavarian yeast. So yeah, this made the journey. Hopefully it's still fresh. So yeah.
Where did you get that from?
It was brought back for me.
Nice.
My nan and my aunt went to Jamaica. So they only came back recently. And yeah, this was there. So
nice. That's good that they're at least going to places as well. And they're like, oh, a beer for Lucy.
Yeah. I mean, they always mule me back stuff.
Yeah.
Food and stuff before the cops come. So yeah, this was different. So
nice.
Nice.
Good. I'm gonna sort of stay on trend for the evening's drinking, and for the 2 episodes, I'm gonna drink a beer from Lost and Grounded, called Spring Protagonist. It's a special bitter ale. It is 4.8%. It's got some leaves on the can. In the sky, I assume, in the background. There's not a huge amount of information on a Lost and Grounded can. That's it. Tells me what it is, tells me the style, tells me the percentage, and that is it. Does give me things like the allergens and the ingredients, but not what malts, what hops, or yeast or anything is. So I will just get it cracked and see what it's like. And we'll come back to you, Aadil, for the stout, the coffee stout.
Coffee stout, yeah, 6% coffee stout, so lighter than I normally aim for. But I do enjoy that they recognized and called it sessionable at 6.
Yeah.
Oh, that is very caramelly, quite sweet. Oh, hit the mic. Doesn't say it has lactose. It's water, malted barley, wheat, oats, hops, yeast, and coffee. But there is this like creamy caramelly nose. Oh, it's really lovely. It's definitely the coffee doing some work. And then yeah, they have oats, so that also probably helps the creaminess.
And maybe giving it a bit more of a fuller body as well. Hopefully it's a bit of
So
viscosity.
it does have a nice texture to it.
Good.
Coats the tongue. For 6%, this is good. This is its sort of my quote unquote sweet spot in that it's not tasting watery. It's quite full bodied, and actually I get why it's sessionable because even on the first sips, there's this lovely roasted character that's got a longer finish, but it's not super. It's not like in your face, so you could easily like lightly sip this and not feel overwhelmed.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think again that caramelly sweetness and creaminess on the nose is there, but it's so much of this is this backbone of lightly roasted, like a lightly roasted malt backbone. So everything is burnt. Like it's not burnt acrid, but it is roasted. And that's sometimes a tough thing to have, which is like a fully roasted character that doesn't move into sort of, oh, here's some acridity. There's a little bit of it on the very or so near the end of the finish, but I think it's because some of those sweeter notes have faded.
Yeah.
Like 30 seconds in. And the fact that there isn't any lactose or any other sort of sugars left to sort of keep that burnt character at bay for longer. I think this the fact that that's not there and it's still sort of 30 seconds before you're feeling, oh, it's a bit burnt. It's kind of the perfect place for a sessionable beer to be like, I can, it doesn't last that much that long, that slight acridity, but if you want to get rid of it, just have another small sip,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really, really nice. And I think I skipped the part where, hey, look, it looks like a stout.
As expected.
Yeah, not it poured with a bit more of a head, but actually at that 6%, it had the lacing, like it doesn't last, and nothing's clinging to the glass. It all sort of evens out and drips down the glass, so it's not that thick. Because again, it's a lighter-ish stout, but yeah,
Nice.
tastes stronger in the sense of it tastes like a full-bodied stout. It's great.
Perfect. Good. Lucy, we will circle around to you.
Yeah.
What was the brewery called?
Troubles Brewing, which the first thing I Google when that comes up is Pokemon. So Troubles Brewing, Jamaica.
And it's a good name.
Yeah, it's
Troubles
very
Brewing does work very, very well.
But it came up with like a Pokemon wiki or something like that for like Arceus, and like, I don't know what this is. Yeah, so
It's very dark and seedy the further you scroll down that Pokemon website.
Oh, they called themselves Jamaica's first craft brewery.
Yeah, and just to get wonder if there's even a badge for checking into a beer from Jamaica on Untapped.
I mean, they have Untapped on their website, a link.
Says it right there, so we'll give it a go. But yeah, it's a lovely looking beer. It is hazy. So yeah, it's a light straw coloured beer. Poured with quite lively at the beginning. Poured with quite a excess head, but that's since calmed down. It's very nice, long lasting. Small bubbles in the white head. It smells gorgeous. Getting a lot of that. Getting a lot of citrus, but I guess lemony citrus on it. Getting a bit of that clove, bit of those esters like banana, clove, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's got that like nice prickly smell that could just keep smelling. It's very nice.
Nice.
But see how it tastes. Oh, that's good. That's very good. I don't know if it's because it's just a warm, hot day. I mean, this would be perfect if you're lucky enough to live in the tropics. But I don't know if it's because the weather calls for it, because it's quite sweltering. It's getting a bit humid now that we're in the evening.
Yep.
But yeah, this is perfect for what I want right now. Yeah, it's got those lemony citrus kind of. It's not tang. It's not sour or anything, but it's got that kind of like freshness that just brings it alive.
A little bit of zest.
Yeah, that's the word I was going for.
Yeah, zest. Yeah, perfect word. But yeah, it's got a nice sweetness at the end. It's rounded off with a little bit of sweetness, which is nice. It's not all bitter at the end. It's obviously very well balanced and got a bit going for it. But yeah, it's still really hoppy, still really carbonated, so it made the trip well.
Good.
So that just makes it even more thirst quenching. Yeah, that's a really good beer. I really like that. I mean, you put like any craft name from the UK on this, slap it on this, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It's really good. I really like this. It's got a nice crispness to it as well. So it's like with that carbonation, with that hoppiness as well. It's just does the job then.
Yeah, interesting that it's a Hefeweizen that you've got. That it's not like just a pale or a pilsner or something a little bit more, not standard, but a little bit more kind of mass market. So yeah, interesting. Did you get any more from them as well?
No, I think this was the only one brought back, which is a shame because that's really nice. But like, I don't really tend to drink when I go on holiday anyway, and I haven't been back to Jamaica in several years. But if I was going over there, I'd be like, I wanted to drink. I'd be like, move over, Red Stripe.
Heresy.
Which I like. Yeah.
It's a fine beer.
Yeah, it is, especially when it's.
I think I've had it on the podcast.
Yes.
I think I have as well.
Because I was in Saskatoon, and my brother-in-law doesn't drink beer, and that was what he had in his fridge.
I mean, it's the Guinness of I need help, I need saving kind of beer, but yeah, this is
especially at like 1 p.m. or whatever the time difference was making me drink it.
That's true.
But yeah, this is as you said, Ben. It's a very traditional style. I mean, Germans. No, I mean, who wouldn't take inspiration from them? But yeah, it's not the kind of like very flat one note kind of mass market kind of beers that you'd usually represent with with this style. Yeah, really well rounded, really flavorful.
Good.
Yeah, it's good. What was the percentage? Did I say
6? Or was no, yours is 6, isn't it, Aadil?
Yeah, mine's 6. I don't think you said, or if you did, I missed
maybe it's not on the bottle. Maybe they don't need that.
It's be, surely.
Maybe it's just straight rum.
82%.
Yeah, I can't see it because I was about to say it's got like kind of warming sensation as well. Oh, it's 5.5. So yeah, I did say.
Nice.
But yeah, it's got a nice kick to it. So it's like you don't need to just down it, especially if that Christmas and carbonation would be a bit hard to. So yeah, really nice one to sip on.
Amazing. I'm hoping this is as well. The Spring Protagonist from Lost and Ground has got a lovely nose, loads of lovely sweet malt in it. When I crack the can again, it's not a big nose, but when I cracked the can, you got the waft of it straight away. And as I was pouring, it was just coming kind of out of the glass. That lovely sweet malt. It's faded very slightly as it sort of sat in the glass for the last sort of few minutes, but not massively. Kind of a little of a brown tinge with a little bit of an amber, more bronzy kind of colour in there.
It looks a bit orangey from
slightly, yes,
here.
Yeah. A little bit more amber perhaps than sort of bronze, but a little brown tint to it. You will have seen that it poured with a very large head as well. Ooh.
Oh.
I like kind of
kind of do.
So that's very interesting because it tastes like a cask beer.
Oh.
It's it's got a touch of carbonation to it. It's quite a flat beer,
Mhm.
and it's much more malty. There's a touch of smoke in there as well, only very slightly, but just kind of sat in the background, giving this nice bitterness to it.
What style did you say it was? Sorry, just
it's a
because I
special
missed that.
bitter ale.
Okay.
So it's a bitter. It's very special. It's an ale.
It's an ale.
Yeah, but I had a couple of cask beers yesterday, and this is incredibly close to those, more so than the keg beer that I had yesterday as well. But again, there's that little bit of carbonation. I imagine some of that comes through the process of the beer and canning and kind of what you want to put in there, rather than it being sort of a flat beer when you crack open the can. But it's definitely hitting that more malty, smoked note. That sweetness that was on the nose doesn't come across very much in the flavour. It's much more kind of bready in the flavour, but combined with that sort of that big bitter smokiness, that's very, very nice.
Nice.
It's very very easy to drink as well.
Sounds like maybe a. Gosh, I've even forgotten the name of the style. It's been so long since I had one. Not quite an amber ale, but like a. Yeah, maybe an amber ale.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit more bitter than an amber ale. Again, I'm getting a little bit of maybe tiny touch of clove and a little kind of peppery kick in there as well, as it's sort of starting to settle and that flavour is lingering a little bit. That sort of a bit of like crack black pepper just sort of sat in there as well, that kind of comes out a little bit from that smokiness. That's very nice because it kind of unfolds as it moves through as well. That's very good. Lost and Grounded, obviously known for their sort of Keller pills and beers like that, but they can turn their hand at almost anything, really.
Yeah.
So this is really, really nice. Good. Let's enjoy these beers then, and for our first episode of this session, talk about some of the games that we've been playing. It's been a couple of weeks since I talked about an actual game I've played, so I might just creep in very swiftly.
Yeah. I remember you were going to
just go ahead.
talk, isn't it just tapping required in this one?
I mean, he's the host. He could just say, "Hey,
no,
Ben."
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about Diablo Immortal.
Okay.
Again, I've put it down a little bit more. I'm not keeping up on the daily as I kind of was. And that daily did turn into me being like, well, I get a bonus for 1 kill, so I'll go and do 1 kill and then put it down.
Classic.
Just to get the bonus. I've not been following on the story quite so much, but when I have been picking it up, there is a story. There's sort of a quest line to run through. There's things like bounties that you can do, so you can go back to previous areas and kill like 60 enemies, kill an elite enemy, and a few other things that you can get. Obviously, all of that gives you bonuses and more gear and stuff. And it's a very kind of, from what I've experienced so far, it's a very grindy kind of game. Grind to get some gear, grind to get runes to make gems, or the gems themselves from different bosses and these kinds of things. You can socket the gems in the gear and all of this kind of stuff. There's so many, like, not currencies, but kind of elements upon elements that would be like, you've got this gear, but you can make it better. You can upgrade it by getting all of these materials. You can upgrade it by putting gems in when you have to do this and do this to get all of that. And it definitely feels like a mobile version of Diablo. That is exactly kind of what it is, trying to get you to grind constantly, trying to be like, well, I'll just pay £5 and you can get that item that you've been trying to grind for so long, or by getting more materials to be able to craft all of this sort of stuff. So we'll see how it goes, maybe kind of in a month or something, when they've potentially kind of updated or changed or altered it or nerfed certain things and that kind of stuff. So I'll probably return to it at a later point. But I want to talk about, bless you, I want to talk about Planet Zoo. A game from like 3 years ago. But one that I had on my wish list for a very, very long time. It was on sale, and I'm really enjoying it. I love a management game. and Planet Zoo hits a lot of the little dopamine hits that keeps you going, that keeps you playing. It's very intuitive in terms of how you can build things, like the park itself, the pavements, the habitats, the barriers, the walls of each of the habitats, and it's got, for the base game, a reasonable amount of animals. I'm nowhere near having all of them in my park. I ran through the campaign. First, I didn't finish all of it. I did sort of the 3 tutorial kind of levels, and I'm like, right, I get it. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'll jump into the sandbox, play about, see what I can do, mess around with things, see how animals interact and stuff. And then
They all eat each other.
Well, yeah. If you put the wrong ones in with each other, they don't get very happy. There's loads of conditions for different animals as well. Every different species has different conditions. They'll have kind of, what do you call them? Like pack sizes almost. The dependent on how they mate. There might only have to be one male with several females, or they're like a monogamous kind of like couple. So you only want a male and a female in, and as soon as the kind of offspring come of age, you've got to move them out of that habitat and either make one for them, or the thing that I have been spending most of my time doing is like not illegal
mating, trying to make pandas.
Mating and animal trading. There is there's a franchise mode, and by that they basically mean that you can open up as many parks as you want, but across the parks you share the currency. So there's like money, but there's also do they call them conservation credits? It's like a little leaf symbol, and you get conservation credits by either trading animals on the market or by releasing them to the wild.
Okay.
And
this sounds highly illegal.
Mate, but the way that they do a lot of this is by saying when you're buying animals, kind of in the sandbox, it will be like, this one has been seized from customs, so you're creating a habitat, you're making a better life for it. This one has been taken off of someone as a pet, kind of thing. And so they're trying to kind of not be like, we've taken these animals out of the wild for everybody to look at. It's kind of trying at least to...
We're poaching the poachers, so it's okay.
But in the franchise mode, because you have this combined currency system, it links in with a real-time marketplace. So you basically, you can put an animal that you've bred, once it reaches maturity, you can put it up for sale in this marketplace. And I'm sat there going, right, I've got my common ostrich. It's a gold standard common ostrich because I've got a couple of really good ostriches mating and doing all of this stuff, right? And at the moment, on the market, a gold standard common ostrich is going for 200 conservation credits. Perfect. Get it on sale. And it will sit there for an hour until someone else who's playing in the franchise mode wants to buy it.
That's fun. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And then the next day, the market might change because suddenly everyone's breeding common ostriches, and so the gold standard common ostrich might have gone down to 20 conservation credits. So you're constantly balancing which animals you're trying to get into your park, because you're trying to bring more money in, you're trying to get people in, so you want better animals for the appeal, and then you're doing lots of breeding, and it's there's loads of stuff around that you can do. You can put them all on contraception, so none of them, so no babies can come. I had a real bad peacock issue in my park.
Well,
they just fucked and fucked and fucked, and I had this. It was like I'd made it for something like 10 peacocks, and suddenly I had like 25, and I'm like, oh shit, I've just got to make a whole new habitat to get some of them out because there's just too many, and they're shitting everywhere, so it's all unhygienic. A load of them have got like a flu because there's shit everywhere. Oh, absolutely, yes, completely. And then you're like, brilliant, but peacocks are one of the easier animals, one of the cheaper animals to get. I'm like, right, I've got like 4 billion peacocks. What can I do with them all? Because everyone else has got 1 billion peacocks. The market is saturated, so it's more beneficial to release them to the wild. So you just imagine. Well, that's it. You imagine the Planet Zoo, the world of Planet Zoo, just peacocks everywhere in the wild, just running rampant. But it kind of on one of these like management kind of park style games. There's loads of things you can do, like research, and you can theme your kind of zoos to certain themes. There's like a New World kind of North American theme, there's an Indian theme, an African theme, like these kinds of things. Like all of these animals are from it, and I've started to try and do that a little bit more and get into the more like almost like asset construction side of things, where you can start to actually build structures and things within this as well, and save kind of like blueprints and things. But I've been making like viewing galleries for kind of the animals. So actually, rather than it just being a path that walks past the enclosure, having a separate path that comes off, which is kind of housed and covered, so people, when it's raining, can come in and kind of like view the animals and stuff like that. I've actually been really enjoying doing my job in a computer game, as always happens with all of these kinds of games. You know, City Skylines, I'll go into the like building creator mode and make some fucking buildings. Like ridiculous, just do my job. And I've started doing it in Planet Zoo. I'm like, I'll pause, I don't want any of my animals to age while I spend a whole afternoon building this ridiculous viewing gallery.
I mean, that makes sense.
So yeah,
just shows that you like your line of work.
That's very true. Yes. I look for my extracurricular activities to also incorporate some of that. But they've got it's ridiculous the amount of DLC they have as well.
Yeah, the advantage of playing the game sort of later in its development cycle is you don't have to be like, no, I'm spoiled for choice, it's great.
Yeah.
It turns out I didn't need to wait 6 months for a lion or a golden ostrich.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. I mean, that's just chocobos, right?
Yeah, I mean, they do look.
It sounds very similar to the space organ trading simulator game that I played. It's no different. Just trading animals.
Yeah, horse trading.
These animals will be butchered. You're selling them to like dog food companies, aren't you?
I mean, who knows what happens when it goes? If the man who signs for it says it's going to, you know, zoo number 12, you know what he does with his ostrich?
It can touch a red peacock.
Nah.
Comes in dressed in like a giraffe fucking waistcoat, just like, oh, it's that kind of person.
I'm from Toys R Us.
Oh no, this one died of natural causes. A bullet to the brain is natural, right? Because humans are just animals, and a human did it.
And we did it, exactly.
Circle of life. Yeah.
But there's tons I haven't got into yet. Like, I just can't afford like lions and elephants and giraffes and those kinds of bigger kind of like ticket animals, if you will. Because everything I've, the most, I think, animal that had the most appeal off was a Bengal tiger. So, because Bengal tigers, you can house them by themselves, or just have like a mating pair together. I was like, oh, one is going very cheaply on the market, and it is a pretty good one. I will have it, and I will make a habitat for it. I'll get people into my zoo. That'll obviously raise my credits. And then another one popped up a couple of days later, a female, and I'm like, perfect. I've got a mating pair now to kind of hang out together. There is as well built into this. They're kind of graded, right, as a gold ostrich. You can get silver ones, bronze ones, and then just no grading to them. And they degrade, the quality of them degrade if you start to allow them to like inbreed and these kinds of things.
So of course,
when you're using the market, you actually have to be a little bit conscious about where, you can't suddenly buy a Bengal tiger from this zoo and then a day later buy another one from that zoo, because it might be a sibling of the one that you've kind of already bought. Like, that's all built into this kind of thing, which is nuts, that there's this big system, this like actual trading system behind it, taking all of that data from the actual
having a database versus going out in the ether and coming back and it not mattering. That's really cool, actually. See, this is the depth that I really found lacking in the Jurassic World Evolution games, because
absolutely,
they were just basically like, okay, I'm bored, I'll just make two dinosaurs fight because there's nothing else to do. Like, there's just even the second one, it had more plot. right? And the plot was interesting because the premise was like they're overtaking North America, so you're like,
Yes.
welcome to Idaho level, and like, but except for like the climate and the topography, it's not like you were interacting with Idahoans. So that didn't last long, that novelty, and then it was just like, and the parks are still bland and plain, and there isn't depth to
Yeah,
the animals.
seems like
And yeah,
it just wants to coast on its license. Not that the developers, they probably wanted to do more, but probably
yeah.
better.
I mean, who knows how much they were restricted on?
Yeah,
Like,
things like turnaround as well. How quickly they had to get a product kind of out the door to coincide with the release of the films and all of those kinds of things as well. But yeah, I think Planet Zoo is from Frontier Developments, just a fantastic game, fantastic product. I am writing something for the site on it as well.
good.
They've got a new conservation pack coming out next week as well, which is a little bit more. They're very heavy into kind of these animals, and it will give you all of those listings, like these are endangered, these are critically kind of endangered, and those sorts of things. And you get more conservation credits if you release like critically endangered animals like back into the wild and stuff. You've got a breeding program for, some really rare fucking tree frog, then it benefits you to do that and put them out into the wild kind of thing. So it's almost subconsciously making you a little bit more aware of these kinds of things. And I think the conservation pack coming out next week is the first kind of like conservation stamped pack. Everything has been like North America pack, Africa pack, Arctica pack, habitat type pack. So yeah, they seem to be moving in that kind of direction as well, which is really interesting. So we'll see how that develops and see what there is in the pack as well.
Very comprehensive.
Yes.
One question: how hard is it to get the pandas to mate?
It's not that hard.
Well, 0 out of 10.
I will say that I say it's not that hard, but the only experience I actually have of it is in one of the campaign zoos. It is a panda park, and they're the big kind of pull, and they've already got a baby when you get into it. So actually, I don't know how hard it is to make them mate, because I've not tried that yet. Maybe that'd be my next task.
You have to just build out like a sex room for them in real life.
Yep.
You have to literally show them panda porn.
That's it.
Maybe they should just go extinct if it's this hard.
Just show them the game. Like, look, you do it in this game. Come on, pandas. But yeah, I'll report back more on Planet Zoo. And as I say, I'm going to have something up on the site, maybe next week, maybe the week after, about some sort of further thoughts on it as well. So we're going to move on from Planet Zoo, and that's kind of what I've been dipping in and out of over my evenings when I've not been working too much. So who has a game to talk about? Well, Lucy, I see a finger being pointed. Yes.
Yeah, I'll just give out a few PSAs for games, including to you two. Apparently Netflix were part of E3 last week or something.
Yeah.
But all I heard amongst the rumblings and of that is that guy who made Downwell, not sure of his name, unfortunately.
I think it was Mr. Downwell.
Mr. Welldown.
Mr. Well Endowed.
Yeah. Oh my.
We were all thinking, it's
just you two.
Jiro Fumoto is Mr. Downwell.
Yes. Yeah, he put out a game on. It's very strange. For ages, I didn't know how to access Netflix games. You have to search for the game, or just, if you're lucky, type Netflix, and hopefully those games go up to the surface on your mobile device and sign in.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, the name of the game is Poinpy, which is very lovely to say. It's spelled Poinpy. I don't know what it means. I don't know who this little green creature you play as. I don't know what kind of animal he is. He's probably one of the inbred creatures from Ben's Zoo Tycoon game. Yeah, I don't know what he is, but it's a really fun game. It's the Downwell did come to mobile, and it is like that very much one button game. It's like perfect for that. This is your swiping and tapping.
Right.
but yeah, just hop into it. I'm sure everyone's got somebody's Netflix login, like I do. That's how I'm playing it.
Interestingly, when I searched it in Netflix and then I clicked on it in the Netflix app, it
Hmm.
popped up saying, "We will now direct you to the Google Play Store."
So, yeah.
It then comes up, the title of the app is Netflix Poinpy. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know now, can you just search that on the Google Play app without having to worry about it? Is it hidden in the Play app and it's
I think they're quite hidden. Unless you know the name of the game, you can't just. Sometimes you search
No.
for Netflix and
I
like
mean,
some
I looked
random
up Netflix on my Android device, and I mean, obviously, you're not going to be able to read the screen, but I've got Netflix, Stranger Things,
Yeah.
Teeter Up, Wonder Putt Forever, Into the Dead, a whole bunch of things that are just preempted by the word Netflix.
Yeah, those
And
are all the games
Netflix
that they
Point
put
P is
on there.
one of them. So if you just search Netflix at least on the Android App Store, you'll find the list.
Yeah, there's a lot of shovelware that comes up on the iPhone
I gotcha.
App Store, so just be aware of that. But
I
yeah,
thought they were
it's
the more curated store, though.
just stop. They are if it's not even Apple Arcade anymore.
I was
'Cause
gonna say,
you
Apple
you
Arcade is
might
where they put all their curation, and they're like, fucking do
some of
whatever
it's
you
all
want.
like, oh, we want to entice engagement with these games. Although I may re-up for another month on Apple Arcade because the guy who made like Space Harrier is putting out a very Space Harrier looking game
Ooh,
on
nice.
Apple Arcade. So I might check that out. But anyway, yeah, Poinpy, it's I guess it's a roguelike. You're basically running away from this monster that continuously chases you up from the bottom of the screen, and you have to feed it fruit. And the physics in this game is fantastic because you kind of you using like the swipe mechanic angle your shot, so it's basically in this very vertical kind of
like a well.
yeah, like a well, but you're going up instead of down this time. But you're basically like ricocheting little pointy off the sides of this. Let's call it a ravine that you're scaling up.
Yes,
And
nice.
it's like, and you can you've got the classic thing where you can like butt stomp on things and stuff like that. But you've got a limited amount of swipes, i.e., a limited amount of ricochets. And as soon as you like touch a platform on the ground, that's when your kind of like chain resets. And this monster that you need to feed, he eats fruits, these fruits that you collect in the air and stuff like that. And you basically have to like keep him sated, so like it comes up at the top of the screen which fruits that you need to pick. So I need an apple and a banana this time. I need strawberry, apples, 2 apples, 3 bananas, etc., etc. And it's like if you kind of break that chain and there's a little ticking time down before it gets too hungry, he basically just spits fire at you, and that's one of your hearts gone. But yeah, it gets increasingly difficult. Like the different, like the fruits. It's like it starts with like 2 different kinds of fruits, and then it's like, okay, there's 3 different kinds, 4 different kinds, and it's like it's all about managing where you're going to shoot to, where you're going to ricochet off. It's chaining that kind of momentum, and you unlock some abilities. Like I've unlocked something where it's like it slows down time when I'm trying to aim, or other abilities where it's like, okay, you can jump higher, or you can gain more than 1 fruit if you do this particular move or butt stop off this particular creature. And it's like every time you die, which is often, it's probably 1 run is probably at most, I'd say maybe 5 minutes. Every time you die, you get these experience points, and it's like every level that you level up, you get an unlock, which can be an extra, I don't know, extra ability, or an extra jump to your character, or an extra or an extra inventory slot for all your different abilities and stuff like that. So you're continually improving, unlocking things, feeling that progression. And yeah, it's the perfect quote unquote roguelike in that sense, where you are feeling progression all the time. It's not you don't feel like you're never working towards something. Even
Mm.
if it's like, okay, this is a rubbish run, I'm going to die immediately. You're still gaining that experience. So, yeah, Poinpy, that's what I've been playing. I don't know if there's an end to the game or something. When you make it out of this ravine or whatever. But yeah, it's super well made. It plays really well. Well's run on my phone. I think the only complaint, as with most mobile phone games, that it might drain your battery a bit, but that's,
Mm.
I mean, you can understand. I mean, it's very, very pretty, very colourful, very charming. The animation's great. So yeah, it's like
It
a
looks
lost
great.
little Nintendo game. Yeah.
Nice.
I
It is.
maybe poked at it a bit in while you were talking, and it took because I was also trying to split my attention. I was spent a good 20 seconds before realizing I was swiping in the opposite direction than I would have thought.
Yeah.
I would thought it was a swipe up, but it's a like swipe towards
Okay.
your
Or is it
character
swipe
game.
off? I think you can invert it as well. So.
Oh, because like yeah, that was really strange for me. 'Cause it's like, oh, start in the sky and then draw a line to
Yeah.
your dude, and then
Yeah.
they will then follow the line you drew. Which like once
Arc, yeah.
in the
Once
45
you get
seconds
it,
I played, it was fine. But
Yeah.
it was definitely like 20 seconds of what am I doing wrong? Because it's just spinning in a ball.
yeah.
I get to spin in a ball.
The tutorial's really good, and then when you start playing it, it's just becomes second nature, and then you start pulling off some really cool little chains. So yeah, very intuitive.
Nice. It's now installed onto my phone, but I did have a quick look and scrolled through and saw Moonlighter is one of the games
Oh, yeah,
available
yeah.
for it. However, I thought I'll click on it and just see. It comes up saying device not supported on my Pixel 3a, and tells me compatibility requires Android OS 8 or later. I'm
Have you not upgraded your
I'm
phone?
up to date. I'm up to date in all of my
'Cause that-
OS
like, I
systems
have a
and
Pixel
stuff.
3, it's
So,
on Android 12.
but I mean, so it'd be interesting to see what yours, if you were to go to Netflix and put into Moonlighter, to see what comes up. But
I had to update to play Poinpy because it was like
Okay.
iOS 15, and I was only on like 13. I don't
Right.
know how that happened. But it's just yeah.
What
I
am I
mean-
looking for again? Netflix?
so if you go into Netflix,
Hmm.
and then if you were to search Moonlighter within Netflix,
Yeah.
it would be obviously the first mobile game that then comes up. And when you click on it, yeah, it just comes up saying device not supported on mine.
So I was hoping the App Store would list it Moonlighter on their list.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have the app installed on my phone.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'll
That's-
poke at it and
Yeah.
see what we can do.
I don't know if it's because I know that maybe it's not yet on the service. I can't remember. Maybe it is because I know that they were putting on a few games. I think was Kentucky Route Zero one of them or something. Where
Yeah, I
it's
think
like,
you'd mentioned the other day that was going to
yeah,
come. That's just gone on Game Pass as well, hasn't it?
yeah, that's been on Game Pass.
Oh, has it? Oh, and maybe it's one of the quests this week to play it. Maybe that's why I've picked up on it.
Possibly. Yeah, it was. Yeah, just to launch it. A game similar to that, which I'll just quickly briefly touch on, is Citizen Sleeper, which is
Nice.
I recommend that. I played it, and it's probably one of the best written games that I've ever played. So when you're in a reedy mood, go play that. It is very much space capitalism, the game, but it isn't. It's very hopeful.
Okay.
In a sense, it's not always. I mean, there are parts of Kentucky Route Zero which were hopeful, but it did feel a bit more oppressive and melancholic than Citizen Sleeper is. So
Yep.
yeah, I teared up at several of the endings in that. So it's fantastic. Go play that. It's on
What did
Game
you
Pass.
play that on?
Steam Deck.
Okay.
Via
Casual
XCloud.
flex.
Via
I heard that
XCloud.
Steam Deck intake of breath.
Via XCloud. So, what do you even call that now?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've went into the little settings. It's very easy to get cloud games just running on your Steam Deck just seamlessly.
That's a Xbox Ultimate Game Pass perk, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I see. Yes. XCloud.
I had Xbox Ultimate for a couple months and realized I wasn't really using anymore, but like that would be a reason for me to like if it works on Steam Deck, if I ever get one, which should
It
be
will.
I mean, November. So who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah. It
I'm
takes
guessing 2020.
takes 5 minutes to get it sorted. I mean, as I said, like Microsoft have listed on their support page, this is how you get
Yeah.
expired games working on your Steam Deck. So yeah, but yeah, go play Citizen Sleeper. And I launched into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge today. I only played 2 levels, so I'll just say it's very, very good from what
Oh yeah,
I
I didn't
played.
realize it had come out on Game Pass, and like right before this call, I was like, no wait, don't hit download because
Yeah.
it's small, but I should probably not abuse my bandwidth.
Yeah, I think it was today, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's only a gig on console, so it's probably like 200
it's 744 megs. Not that I
Okay,
checked.
there you go. But yeah, I think I downloaded it when you were streaming, so that's why I went dark. Just, I was like, I'm gonna play this game now. But
nice.
yeah, the game that I wanted to talk. I always run on for so long, but so I'll make this more of an abridged chat. Is the game that I've been very enamored with, which I'd been waiting several years to come out. It's a game called Freshly Frosted, and the devs, Quantum Astrophysicists Guild, I think they're called. It's a mouthful.
It's an impressive name.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this is their game, and it came out on last Friday, so a week ago. It's a puzzle game, and it's all the right kind of things that I want from a puzzle game.
Nice.
We discussed over the weekend that I don't like donuts.
Yes.
And this game is all about putting donuts on like a factory line to get packaged or whatever. But these are the right kind of donuts because I don't have to eat them. And there's this narration in the game. This woman with a very soothing voice talking about how much she loves donuts, and it's like, this is bordering on a sexual fascination with donuts, and it's like, I'm all there for it, you know, covering herself with powdered sugar and everything. But it's like, it's just a very soothing, calm kind of vibe to it, and it's like, it's very nice. And it's like, it doesn't punish you. Basically, it's a puzzle game where you're sort of like Cosmic Express, if anyone's ever played that, where you just when you've got these assembly lines, basically the start and the end. Okay, this is where the donut's coming from, this is where you need to get them to, and you're having to draw the conveyor belt in between. And just like all the good puzzle games that I like, this has got 12 sets of levels, I think maybe 15 or 10 or 12, I can't remember, in each one. I think it's 12 per donut box, donut world. But each one introduces a new mechanic, so it's sort of like, okay, there's these things, these flippers that sort donuts. One donut goes this way, one donut goes that way. There's teleporters in one of the most recent levels that I've gone through. There's, all kinds of different additions to the main mechanic, and it just keeps stacking and stacking and stacking in a very satisfying way. So it's like, okay, I've done one puzzle box, and it's like I've gotten very used to the mechanics of this, and then the next level, it'll add on that mechanic to what you've already learned, and it's just progressively getting more difficult each time. I've spent quite a few minutes, maybe up to an hour on some of those levels, but it's a case of, it's easy to very much put down, come back to it in the morning, and it's like, it clicks. It's that kind of satisfying puzzle game, and yeah, it's just, I'm playing on the Steam Deck, and it works fantastically with the controller, just like tracing out the conveyor belts. It works so seamlessly. This game took a while to come out, several years, so, and I mean, it shows because everything's just very finely tuned and very well made and very seamless in how you draw the conveyor belts. Like every good puzzle game offers redo buttons and undo buttons, and you can skip puzzles if you're having an issue. You can use a hint, but knowing me, I'm too stubborn, so I just stare at it for like an hour. So, but yeah, it's it's a fantastic little puzzle game. I really love it, and I'll be sad when it's finished. I think I'm on box 10 of 12. So,
Okay.
yeah, but go pick up Freshly Frosted. It's lovely.
Nice. Good.
It's like eating a donut if you like donuts.
Yeah. Only if you like them, though. Obviously.
Yeah.
Good. We're running very close to the end of our hour. Aadil, have you got a couple of minutes just to have you played anything, or has what you've played need more time?
No, it needs so little time because it's what I streamed, and if you want more details, just do that. I streamed Saints Row, called Saints Row, not Saints Row 1 and not Redo, but the new Saints Row. They came out with their demo, which is a boss designer, basically. Although
what you made was
literally sorry.
What you made was inspired. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I spent an hour and a half
Mm.
on making one character. It's just a character creator, basically showing you all the things you can do. And what's mildly interesting is you can upload that, and because it's associated with your Epic account, it's like a I can't actually remember the name of the thing now. It's a boss simulator, boss designer or something like that.
Factory.
Thank you. Yeah. And so apparently your boss will show up in the game, but also you can like download and share other bosses, and then they will show up in your game.
Hi.
But obviously, all you're doing is cosmetics, 2 emotes, and a voice. So show up in the game. It's like, okay, so what? My first boss battle will be someone who's skinned the way I designed. Like, wait, so you just like. In your development cycle, you're just like, how about we just stop bothering with character design and then offer it as a demo perk?
Please do it. It's
Yeah, oh, man,
like-
these are the dumbest designed bosses. It's not my fault. It's all your colleagues.
What's his name with Joseph Gordon-Levitt? You do it. Make that Ubisoft game that's never coming out.
But
Beyond Good and Evil, whatever it's called.
It'd have enough random options, and like, you can have genitalia that's blurred or having a floating emoji over it, and I had fun trying to figure out how to make the emoji look less obviously slapped on, things like that. It's very Saints Row.
The moderators will be busy, basically.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first thing I saw. So you can design things, you can upload them, and then you can like just browse. And my second half of the stream was like maybe 30 minutes of me just looking at what people have done. And by far the best one was just someone who made Shaggy. It's just
I
Shaggy.
didn't see this. What, Shaggy the rapper or Shaggy?
Oh no, I wish it was Shaggy the rapper. No, there was a Kanye though. No, Shaggy from Scooby Doo, and it was like, that was a pretty good Shaggy. The rest was a lot of.
I'll take that.
I think that's Donald Trump. Maybe it's Rush Limbaugh. I don't know. They were basically the same massive human. But I mean, we know I have fun using character creators, and obviously as a stream, I went through every slider, and what I like is, it's not one of those things where you just min-max, like either you're gonna all go all one way or the other. The more interesting choices were kind of mostly in the middle, or and they had some things like your brow could be asymmetrical, so you could have like half your forehead protruding and the other half not, like, which was like, oh, it's not just a standard thing. Most of it is, and obviously a lot of the fun is in like outfits and stuff, and my standard gripes still apply, which is basically, don't give me the hair stuff and then the head stuff where I have to pick my ears and things because I've put hair in the way.
Yeah.
Like, just the ordering of these things is annoying, but as a demo, it also just kind of, the only thing I wanted to say was, like, if you're going to make it sharing and searching and stuff, give a QA tester like 20 minutes to be like, is this like the best way to do this? Because it's a really clunky interface. Things like you can you can find a skin you like a boss you like, and then you can favorite the creator. You can't click on them to see everything else they see, but you can favorite them as a creator, and then go back 3 screens, and then in your favorite, like out of the search, and then go, who are my favorite creators? And then you click on your favorite creator that you've just made and see what they've done. And then you're like, turns out I just like that one thing. Oh, there's no unfavorite. Also, you're telling me I can only have 60 favorite creators, which obviously I'm never going to fill up, but in principle,
Yeah.
I want to get this person off my list. And it's like little, like small things like that where it's like,
Is
just
this
don't do
is
the
this
sharing
final
thing unless
this
you want to
final
do the sharing
Toad
thing
though?
right. Sorry?
Is this when is that game out? They have tight
Meant to be
streamlined
this
it,
year,
don't they?
like
But
end of
it's not
summer, autumn
final.
time.
It's
Yeah, I
probably
mean,
not
so the big
final
thing is I
though.
don't know how big of a deal the boss factory is and the sharing of that, right?
Well,
Because
yeah,
assuming you're like telling us how flexible our protagonist can be in a very cheeky way,
yes.
and then someone had this bright idea, and so like one of the first three bosses, or all three of the first three bosses, or like three inconsequential bosses will be seeded from your favorites, and they say, "Look at this thing we did." That's like that just seems like the way a developer nowadays would do these things. It's supposed to come
Can
out
you?
August 23rd,
Oh, I had
but
no
like,
idea. I didn't know this.
yeah.
I thought it was delayed by a year or something. Are you able to carry this progress or your character that you've made into the final game
Yeah, so that's the whole point is they
in
will
the
show
epic
up in the
account?
game as so
Oh,
them
okay.
or ones you favorited will show up as a boss, whatever that means,
I
right?
was just wondering if this was
Like,
just a demo and them saying, but when the game comes out, you can actually do
oh no,
this. I didn't
so
realize. Well, it's attached to your
it's attached to your profile
your
or as some
sanctuary
way.
profile or whatever
I
it is.
mean, who knows how well it'll do that?
Mhm.
But like that's why I'm saying if
Okay.
you're gonna offer this as actual functionality, then I want to like.
Mhm.
Yes, I know it's just some net code and some UI, and I can stumble my way through. But this doesn't give me a strong like. This is your demo, this is your sales pitch, it's just a character creator, and you're saying it will have an impact on the game, and me trying to curate that impact is annoying and painful in ways it shouldn't be. That's disappointing. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
So those are
Fair.
my 2 minutes that turn into
Sure.
7.
Ah, that's fine. That's fine. Good. We will finish what we've been playing there for this week then, and round out episode 330, as I've now seen it's come up in the stream chat, with our beers. Aadil, we started with you. How was the beer?
It's really good. I think it's exactly what it said on the tin. It's a great sessionable beer. It had coffee and sort of, I don't know if to say burnt overtones, but like there was a like carameliness on the nose, less so on the taste, but I actually like that about it. And nothing really changed except that acridness that sort of my palate got used to by about halfway through. And so even though it got a little harsher before the whole thing faded, once I got used to that it was barely noticeable. So it just became really pleasant to sup on my own terms, which I
Nice.
really like about a beer. It's one of the things I seek is ones that don't make you refill on their terms.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really excellent. I've not really had anything from them before, but I would seek them out. Moersleutel, the beer engineers. Engineered.
Good. Lucy.
It's not a thing they said. That was just me. That's why I don't work in marketing.
Lucy, how was your beer?
Yeah, it's good. I've still got about a third of it. Yeah, it's as I say, it's a really well-rounded, well-balanced beer, and it's got, even though it has that like carbonation and crispness and stuff, it's got a nice softness to it. So I mean, as I say, when you live in the tropics, you probably get good water as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Get it all. So yeah, just gonna bathe in this later.
Save that final third just to splash over yourself.
Yeah, cleanse myself. But yeah, it's really nice. Don't know how I'll ever get any more of it unless send the mules back or go myself. I need a passport. But yeah, it's very nice, very nice. Been perfect for this sweltering heat.
Good.
As the stout perfectly matched the weather.
I mean, the special bitter ale, Spring Protagonist from Lost and Grounded. This was a nice beer again for the heat. It seems like a cask beer is not something you kind of want when it's this warm and hot and humid, but this sat very, very well. It mellowed as I drank it, so those bigger malty and that smoky note that I was getting from it, they both mellowed out, and it was more the kind of the cracked black pepper a little bit of clove that stuck around that little bit more. The malts were there still, but they just mellowed a little bit to allow other things to come to the front. It was a lovely beer, and it went back very, very easily. So yeah, Spring Protagonist, I think then alongside, what was the other one? Arbor did a bitter recently as well, which again was very nice. I don't know why I'm in the mood for a bitter. Maybe I'm just...
I mean, sometimes you go through those phases. I mean, like, I was there probably about the start of the year. I was just like, give me a few bitters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you had a few on the podcast as well, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
A few more sort of traditional beers as well. So yeah, it's really good. So that rounds us out for the episode. Thank you everybody for joining us. You can get us at Tanked Up Cast on the socials if you want to tell us about what you've been drinking or what you've been playing. It would be great to hear from you. We are Out of Lives as well, so go to outoflives.net to look at other things that people are chatting about and doing. You can hit us up on Twitch as well, Out of Lives Network, and see Aadil's streams. See him in the Saints Row Boss Factory, which will be on the VOD for you to watch, or go over to our YouTube page, which is Out of Lives Network as well, and see that stream when it goes up, or any of the other ones that he has put up recently. Or if you're listening to us in audio form on your podcast service of choice, you can go to the YouTube to see our beautiful faces and the beers that we have been drinking. Chat to us, leave a comment, like, subscribe, all of that shit. But just get in touch, have a chat with us. It's always great.
And it's free.
Exactly, it is free. It's free to talk. Well, no, that's BT. It's good to talk. Jesus Christ, what decade are we in? Yeah, my brain's melted now. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ciao. Nice.
www.outoflives.net